My apologies, Osaragi. I did not recognize your bag. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do to have it on and keep it on me at all times. Another fun fact, I'm just mad at myself for not really, remembering Osaragi's character. I've reread Sakamoto Days, start to whatever its current finish was, 3 times, yet I completely forgot Osaragi's character, her moral standing, and all that. That I feel bad for. I stand by almost everything, not literally almost, I think literally everything else I said in that review. Every other thing, absolutely valid. I legit just forgot Osaragi's character, though. I think I was too focused on her bum status. And even then, she's not even really a bum. She one-tapped Gozu. And I know y'all gonna say, but Gozu got one-tapped by Boiled, and that's true. He also got one-tapped by a car. But still, regardless, I was just not giving her due respect. So, first things first, I want to apologize for Osaragi's character, even if I do have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Another thing, I'm a little bit worried. A little bit worried. Maybe because of the title of this chapter. What do you mean the battle begins? What battle? And why are we with Sakamoto in the void? I'm scared. I'm scared. But let's not waste more time. Let's hop right into chapter 222. 2222. 2222. Why did I say it 4 times? No, imagine Sakamoto Days went on for that long. Gee. But see, chapter 222 of Sakamoto Days was known as The Battle Begins. Huh? Wait. What was I just doing? So I'm guessing this is probably right after he got backshots. That hazard a guess, considering he doesn't even know what he was doing. And maybe this is him entering, the in-between space, like a pseudo part. Why are his dogs out? He's got pants on. He's got a sweater. Why are the dogs? Sakamoto, put them away. They're barking too loud. Put them away. Ain't nobody need to see that. I know there's some people who would really be happy to lick Sakamoto's toes, but I didn't need to see that. Put the dogs away. But let's see. Huh? Oh. Okay, so he's just, so he was in purgatory, now he's just genuinely tweaking. Okay. Interesting. I mean, notably, I've said it before and I'll say it again, a cow didn't really leave as much of an impact on me as I feel like the character should have. And I say the character should have, not just from Suzuki's writing perspective, but literally from the fact that the fandom loves the cow. And I mean loves. I remember the hype and craziness when people first saw her get an anime image. Everyone was going absolutely insane. But notably, Akira as a character just never really hit for me, kind of in the same way that Akira never really hit for. I keep saying Akira. Why did I just say Akira? I guess I'm so used to Akira Toriyama, I try to separate Akira from Akira. And I think of Akira like the movie. But regardless, whichever way it's pronounced, I just don't really feel the same kind of passion that I think a lot of people do for a cow. And I think that's just the me thing. I think it's my problem, so I'm always happy to get a little bit more cow to hopefully retroactively justify her. But I think the big issue that I have with a cow and a lot of characters who are already dead in narratives that I'm supposed to care about is there's no real tension behind the character because they're boomed. So there's not every bit of further development this character receives is technically retroactive development for a character who will never be relevant to the main story again. But at the same time, we clearly have a moment like this where Rion is presumably going to communicate with Sakamoto, and I'm guessing help him get out of his slump and maybe reawaken as the strongest. Considering we do need Sakamoto back, presumably, maybe, I don't know, man. The way the order's looking, maybe we don't. Maybe Shin could solo. Let's see. Yeah, a cow. Where are we? I mean, good question. And notably, the fit change, I don't know if he has the dogs out still, but he went from purgatory to seemingly maybe a memory, or this is with a bright white background, so he's still in purgatory, and a cow's kind of just been waiting here. I mean, it'd be a crazy thing to establish that, the souls that are taken by Uzuki, either, literally or metaphorically, are, stuck in a weird limbo state. A cow and presumably Takamura are just wandering around in, literal purgatory, or a weird aftervoid, because Uzuki's literally holding their personalities hostage, holding their souls hostage. But I think this may just be Sakamoto genuinely tweaking. Maybe. It really, I mean, it's not too late to introduce a power system. When was Haki introduced in One Piece properly? Wasn't it time skip? Properly, I'm talking real proper. I know there were things like Haki Blooms early in part 1, as soon as Zoro fought Mr. I forget. Daz Bones? I forget. I didn't read One Piece. But essentially, I just watched a bunch of Gamblers videos. But with that being the case, I know there's technically a Haki Bloom there. We've seen Observation Haki in part 1. We've seen Haki, but it was never named as a proper power system until, I believe, the time skip of One Piece. So maybe it's the same case here, where we may be getting a power system, or some supernatural elements beyond the, obviously, base supernatural elements of all these characters being superhuman. Let's see. Where are we? Oh? Okay, so we're leaping. So, Sakamoto in Purgatory, Sakamoto with a cow, and now we're here with what looks like Oki. Throwing in 100 yen coin and... But you know what? Oki, for a man who's all about assassin supremacy and stuff like that, why are you paying for anything? If you don't break through that vending machine and absolutely rip out whatever you need, man, who's gonna stop you? Who's like the police that you own? Like, dog, what do you mean you're still paying for stuff? I mean, 100 yen though for presumably a can of soda ain't really that bad. I ain't gonna be real with you, because like 100 yen is like 2 cents, right? If I'm not mistaken, like I feel like it's not that much. Let's see. Whoop. Why is Bochacha looking like this? Oh wait a minute, hold on. I'm that. Oh shoot. That's what I'm talking about. Don't get my toes curling. Now, hold on a second. We were just talking about last chapter how Nagumo's in a real interesting spot, and I was kind of wondering what the big bad grand plan is. And look who this highest of hey on him is. We gotta get Oki versus Nagumo. I mean, like, can you really put Nagumo on Fraud Watch though? I feel like you really can't. The only, like, you could put Nagumo on Fraud Watch, quote unquote, because, like, he wasn't perfectly utilized in the Takamura battle, because he was still reeling from the whole Uzuki Rion reveal. So I can't really give him that. And he was also heavily fatigued after fighting Gaku, and then trying to hunt down and backstab Uzuki, on top of having to fight what at the time was clearly #1 in the verse. So I'm not even going to put Nagumo on Fraud Watch for that, because he's literally won every single fight. Meanwhile, Oki? Technically, Oki's in one of those weird spots where he hasn't really lost, but he hasn't ever won. He's either let his opponents get away, or simply ran away himself sometimes. Like, I don't know, it's real rough for Oki. He is quite bummish, so getting who was confirmed to be the second best fighter in the order, which presumably would include its leader, Oki, Nagumo should already technically be above Oki, but who knows? Maybe Oki doesn't count in that statement, as Suzuki said it all that time ago. But let's see. Ka-tunk. Oh, Nagumo stole his drink. I see you, Nagumo. But notably, Nagumo doesn't even look that happy here. He's like, ugh, whatever. He very much looks like, oh no, but with the battle. Oh, so maybe this isn't. The reason I was scared of the chapter title, The Battle Begins, is I was like, we already in final battle territory? Like, wait. Sakamotodays. Please don't end. Please. Too many series are ending right now. But no, it just seems like The Battle Begins as in, like, maybe this is going to be a multi-chapter fight between Oki and Nagumo, which I'd be down for. Let's see. That's not for you. Green juice. We're enemies. What do you think you're doing? You've got some nerve. I just happen to be here, okay? I don't buy that. Nagumo. Buddy. Amigo. You're a real cool cat. A real nice kid. He's not a kid. He's a full grown man. But still, Nagumo, I don't buy that. You want a little bit of that smoke. But once again, it's clear that Oki don't even want smoke. Because realistically, Nagumo's on the kill on sight list. Right now, if Oki was really about that action, he'd be trying to boom Nagumo this instant. But at the same time, you can tell Nagumo himself is either... Obviously, the real reason why Nagumo didn't just backstab Oki through the dome after learning his lesson with Uzuki and stabbing through the heart is literally just because, we need to have this fight. But at the same time, from Nagumo's expressions to his disinterest to his general, like, hey, gang, I ain't really trying to be here for real. I just happened to spot you here. I was a little bit thirsty. You got this stupid green juice. I ought to beat you for that. I'm going to take your life for this right now. What do you mean you spent 100 yen on green juice? But still, it's very likely that Nagumo himself may not actually be standing on business all too much. He may not actually have that dog in him, considering he didn't go for a head-to-head fight immediately and is now currently chatting with him. In fact, he's even sitting down on the floor. I just happen to be here, okay? You seem kind of tired. Thanks to you. Ever since we launched the new JA, I've had no peace and quiet. Are you getting along well with Uzuki, or should I say, X? We don't communicate much. I don't really... This is... Like... I mean... I guess it does kind of make sense, though, right? Notably, while Oki definitely has been a little teeny tiny bit bummish, I ain't gonna lie to you, he still was once the leader of the Order. And presumably Uzuki's leader of the new order. That's why I say was once, even though technically you could definitely argue Oki still is, considering he commanded everyone else around previously, when Uzuki was compromised. But with it being the case, it's clear neither of them actually do want to fight, considering they're going through this entire scenario. It looks like Nagumo got the green juice, got a sip of it, managed to chug the whole thing down, and now they're going for a walk. They're just genuinely chatting with each other, which is honestly, like, it's interesting. It's interesting, and that's the one thing I'll give Suzuki Sensei and Nagumo specifically, and how they write Nagumo. Even if I do think last chapter was a bit strange for Nagumo, in little ways, like his motivation and his writing and his appearance and stuff like that, and how he uses powers. Even if I do think that is a little bit strange from last chapter, I'll readily admit I do like Nagumo, and what Suzuki Sensei always does with Nagumo is make the plot thick, juicy, and interesting. I am always intrigued when Nagumo's on screen, and this is one of the many times I'm intrigued where I'm confused why he's not attacking, I'm confused why Oki's not attacking, and it's interesting that Nagumo's asking relatively mundane questions and making relatively basic observations, and not necessarily trying to pry any specific information out of Uzuki. But of course, we do know Nagumo technically is only here, or still actively fighting, because of Uzuki. So, maybe not. Let's see. We don't really communicate much. I really don't know what he's thinking. He's not exactly approachable. That's true. Come to think of it, you three were classmates, weren't you? Yes, indeed they were. And we saw that flashback arc. Let's see. Oh, that's right. What a rowdy group. Honestly, it'll never happen just because I don't think the characters are that important. And honestly, it's not something that I'd really be down birding chapters on, but it would be neat if we got like extra side stories or light novels or even like small chapters or sketches of each of these Shaku's time learning their, I guess, like their abilities and them kind of coming up in the world of assassination. Like, obviously we do have context for some characters. We know Nagumo came from a spy family. We know Shishibo is just a regular henchman guy. We know Osuragi came from a farm. Like, we do have loose context for everyone already, but I'm talking like that more in-depth, specific, juicy stuff. Like, give me Oki coming up and becoming the leader of the Order. Give me Taurus reaching his level of power after years of game. Like, just flesh out the backstories of these characters more so they feel even more tangible, which I will admit they already do. Okay, ... ellipses, what's he about to do? Any interest in coming back to the Order, Nagumo? What? What? Really? 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 But you know what? It goes back to that core concept, right? They don't really want to box each other. They know ball enough that even if they're confident that they could win, they know it's not gonna be an easy fight. It's not really worth running smoke. And notably, Oki does seem to be alone this time. He can't command somebody else to work. He can't simply run away from this. It looks like if they run smoke genuinely. So Oki, he's kind of showing his belly a little bit, being like, "Any interest in coming back to the Order, Nagumo?" That means he really don't want to. He's like, "Hey, gang, I know you were like top criminal number one. I know we've had like a couple of encounters before where I tried to kill you and your boys. I know like we really ain't cool like that, but you low-key built like that, bro. You want to just rejoin? You want to just come back? We got an open seat for you. It's nice and warm and buttery. Don't worry about anybody else." But at the same time, I bet Oki is actually desperate to fill the Order with somebody who's actually competent, especially someone as competent as Nagumo, because Shishiba, I don't know how to say it, Kamihate and Osuragi are all gone. They're all just poof right out of existence. So now the only real Order members that he has is him. And like legit just him, because who else is left? Who else is genuinely left now that I think about it? Of the original Order before obviously Torres and Tanabata showed up, I think that's it. I genuinely don't think they have anybody else. It's him. And the two recruits he got from nowhere, but none of the old Order is left, so he's down to that and the others. He don't really trust the others, so I don't blame him for wanting Nagumo back. But at the same time, I wouldn't trust Nagumo either, so he's really desperate. Let's see. Why don't we team up? Okay. I also don't, like, Nagumo, I feel like you're lying through your teeth again. There's no way you actually want to team up with Oki. But at the same time, it's clear you don't really want smoke. ... But I love the difference though. There's a ellipses of silence here, but it's because Nagumo's cheesing and Oki's like, "Bro, Chacho, really? You think I'm gonna fall for that?" I was like, "Pass. Without Order, there's no JA. We have a duty." I mean, at the same time though, it goes to a fundamental question that Kanye had for a while now, and since it's being brought up again, I'll bring it up one more time. Oki, what do you do? Who pays you? What is your job now? Sure, you stand unrivaled, but you kind of stood unrivaled in the world before when you had a veil over your existence, which was honestly better and probably safer. And obviously you had more people that would work under you. At least more people that you could somewhat trust. Now you gotta deal with Uzuki and Gozu and Kumanomi on top of your regular new Rowdy Order members. So, like, gang, what do you do? What is your life like now? Like, are you still getting assassination jobs that you have to do? You said you've been busy, but that's only because of the crew's actions. So, like, in a normal day-to-day, Oki, what do you do? How do you make that 100 yen that you put in for some green juice? Like, genuinely, I don't know. Oki's in such a weird spot, genuinely. So I don't know what his real motive is. Without order, there's no JA. I'm assuming it's like without the order, because maybe he just means general order, but still, without order, there's no JA. We have a duty. A duty to what? A duty to who? Other than to yourself. As you've already admitted, I think even to Nagumo, that you don't even really care about, like, the general way of the world, as long as it's a world for assassins, by assassins, of assassins. So the order is almost, like, weirdly redundant. Especially considering y'all are still considered like a secret group by a majority of the nation, which you have just taken over. Like gang, I'm not sure what benefit you really get out of this. Let's see. Same. So much for negotiations. Okay. So they were trying to be polite about it. They knew that Smoke was basically Digidestined, but they're like, well, it's clear that he's still like a guy. Let me attempt to talk to him, even if neither of them really thought it was gonna work out. So, I guess the battle begins. Let's see. Oh, never mind. Let's see. You don't like the fact that I'm working with X, do you? That's right. Not one bit. I mean, yeah. Dude, like, you're not even... Obviously, we know that Oki is kind of just... Like, we know he's a fiend and a madman in his own right. But at the same time, you are working with a guy who... not only took over an entire country by force and is currently just allowing people to slaughter en masse, but also the same guy who kind of put you out of job, and also the guy who's acting as like a weird homage / vessel to his lost best friend, which he probably doesn't feel all too happy about. So like there's like 50 different reasons why Nagumo will want to give you back shots right now. All of them relating to Uzuki. So yeah, no duh, Oki. He does not like the fact that you're working with X. Let's see. I have my own ideas. Oh, bailing, huh? I'll give you one warning. Okay. So, Oki really does... But it makes sense, right? If we're going with what... And hey, as a person who's all about that scaling, if we're going with what was said previously about Nagumo relative to everybody else, he is kind of built a little bit too devious, a little bit too dastardly. And by that, and by him, I mean Nagumo. Nagumo's just the strongest right now. Presumably in the verse outside of Uzuki himself. Because he was already second best fighter in the Order. When the Order still contained monsters like Shishiba. Like, I mean, the only questionable person is like Torres. Because Torres kind of doesn't have anti-feats. And is like really dumb, busted and broken. But Tanabata's not really a threat. Oki, who was already in the previous Order, would probably fall below Nagumo in that statement or that assessment by Uzuki. So... I don't blame Oki for wanting to get out of there, at least get to a more open space, if he's going to have to run the Fate anyway. He's like, I may be cooked. And Nagumo even admits that, like, oh, bailing, huh? And that may be why Nagumo shows up and doesn't just immediately backstab him, on top of, the meta-narrative reason of we need to have this fight. It's the idea that maybe, on some level, he wanted to give Oki a chance, right? He's like, boss, I'm about to give you back shots. So let's not make you spread it immediately. Let me give you the opportunity to at least consider standing down and not having me run your Fade. But unfortunately, for Oki, he wants to run the Fade with Nagumo. So let's see. I'll give you one warning. In the battle that's about to unfold, the new JAA will lose. I mean, presumably, they're pretty incompetent. Y'all couldn't beat what? And by y'all, I mean the New Order could not defeat one guy. I mean, they got Sakamoto, but like, he'll be back. So y'all couldn't get a single body. Strongest assassin group in history, by the way. Not a single body. Let's see. In the battle that's about to unfold, the new JAA will lose. Are they legit just getting in his car? Let's see. What makes you so sure about that? Well, you won't have us. I mean, that is true. And not that just that you won't have them, but you'll be fighting them. It's like, it's almost as, how do I put this? What's a good comparison? It's as if you could have made out. Oh, no, actually, I have a perfect comparison. It's like Fire Emblem 3 Houses. But then again, it's weird because notably there just isn't another faction. It is like Sakamoto's crew versus the new JA. Like, there's no other outside tertiary faction, at least not that we know of. But with it being the case, I guess you could technically argue Sakamoto is the third faction. It's weird. But in Fire Emblem 3 Houses, if you do not recruit certain students, you will fight them later. Like, that's just what's going to happen. They will reappear later as boss characters. And that's kind of the case here, where you may be able to argue that technically, Oki could have somehow, if he had passed the charisma check instead of failing it repeatedly, he could have recruited Nagumo. He could have recruited Sakamoto. He could have recruited everybody to his side, and then had a much easier time later on dealing with whatever stragglers there are. But rather than that, he's now locked in a 1v1 against Nagumo, and will have to fight everybody else. And everybody else, let's just do a quick review of everyone who's not on Oki's side and going to specifically be rebelling against the new JA. It's Nagumo, Sakamoto when he wakes up, Shin, Boiled, Heisuke, Kindaka, Yotsumura. Obviously, I feel like the kids shouldn't count all too much, but they're kind of still monsters too. The kids from the JA school, who I'll just group as one thing, even though technically Savik definitely could be his own entry, but Maifuyu and the guy with the ear, like there's not the guy who covers his ears has like a really good sensitive hearing, but and Totomatsu, the girl who got her own like cover, like that's a whole bunch of fighters, and I feel like I'm still missing some. Who else am I missing? I mean, Lu's kind of irrelevant because we know she's never gonna fight again. But then again, even if they're not like directly working together on the same side, we have Shishiba, Osaragi, Kamihate. So two of the best snipers in the verse, on top of a whole bunch of other just top tiers. And while obviously some top tiers are somewhat crap, like Yotsumura did lose to Shishiba, Shishiba's also going to be fighting the New Order. So genuinely, all the New Order has is a bunch of random fodder who we know simply are not threats. We saw that last chapter with Nagumo and Shishiba's interactions. And who? And who does Oki have on his side? Uzuki, who's a wild card, on whether or not he's going to be potent or viable. Kumanomi, who's also, while the most successful of the Alkmaar kids, is still not the most consistently well-performing against randoms. And by randoms, I mean, like, actual relevant characters, but still, there's that. Gozu, who seems to be a wild card even under Uzuki's wing, which is kind of crazy. You know, Gozu will barely listen to Uzuki. What guarantee does Oki have that he's going to listen to him? Torres, who's also kind of just a wild card, a very powerful wild card, but still, I don't know how he's getting paid right now, which is presumably his only motivation. I could very easily see Nagumo or someone else flipping towards to their side, and they're like, hey, we'll give you money. And Torres is going to be like, well, shit, I'm not getting paid right now anyway. No one needs an assassin. Everyone can just boom each other. And then he just switches sides, but we'll assume Torres is still there, so we're at 4, because we have the 3 Alkmaar kids, plus Torres, then Tanabata, then Oki. For reference, it's like a 6 versus 13. Literally every single New Order member could get 1v1 or get 1v2'd by a combination of all the fighters they have. Yotsumura and Kindaka can jump somebody. Kamihite and Heisuke can jump somebody. Osaragi and Shishiba can jump somebody. Nagumo and Sakamoto can jump somebody. And presumably they're going to be the ones jumping Uzuki himself after this battle with Oki. Like, legitimately, we have so many Shin and Boiled. Because why not? So many different duos could just supreme and giga jump them. And obviously there are some battles that will go easier than others, but there definitely could be like matchup checks and stuff, especially with Nagumo if he does end up being like the pseudo leader of the Sakamoto group, or even if it is, let's say there are 3 factions with the whole 3 houses analogy. Let's say Sakamoto's crew stays on their own. It's not like Nagumo's going to attack Sakamoto's crew. And same thing for Shishiba, and assuming his crew stays on their own. It's not like they're going to attack Nagumo or Sakamoto's crew. So, essentially, it is 3 separate factions, technically, as in Nagumo by himself. Let's assume he's just by himself, even though we know he has ties to Yotsumura, who has ties back to Sakamoto's group. But, let's say it's 3 separate factions, and I'm lagging. Let's say it's 3 separate factions who all have absolutely 0 reason to fight each other. And only have reason to gank the New Order. So even if it isn't a typical, like, oh, this whole, like, 13-man band of really powerful characters or decently powerful characters is going to be jumping each Order member, but it's also, there's also just no chance of conflict between them. Because they have no reason to fight each other. So, Oki, I think you're cooked. Let's see. You won't have us. On to you, arrogant. Who said you could get in? Stop him then. Stop him then. Like, I'm sorry, Oki. You just, especially for a character who felt like they had so much hype, you simply do not have the aura to pay this bill. You can't be acting nonchalant, dog. You've been beaten by cars and have failed to catch a singular body. You failed to do serious damage. Like let's be honest, okay? It's rare to catch bodies in shonen manga. I'll give that. I'll give that. We will acquiesce to that statement and agreement. However, you haven't done anything to put you on the level of Nagumo. You haven't done anything to put you on the level of Shishima. You haven't done anything to put you on the level of Osada. You just haven't done anything, Oki, other than look kinda bummy. Kinda bummy. So, I don't know, bro, Chacho. I really don't think you're ready for this. I think Nagumo's about to give you back shots. Let's see.
The first time I met you two, I wondered why Yotsumoto had brought on board such a pair of insolent punks.
Interesting that Nagumo looked a lot more serious back then. Let's see.
Nagumo, hope that one day you'd lead the order.
So, well, I'm not sure if this is true, but we'll assume that Oki has no reason to lie, because he kind of doesn't. If that's the case, there's a little bit of a tragic element here, where ultimately Nagumo, if all else had stayed the same, if X's group wasn't a thing, obviously, the order itself and the way the JA operated still wasn't the best thing ever, but if all else had stayed the same, maybe if Rion hadn't died, maybe if Uzuki didn't go crazy or just didn't exist in general, Nagumo would have had a much simpler path where he wouldn't, he probably would still be playing the whole espionage thing, from a family of spies, but he wouldn't have had to play it so totally. He wouldn't have his entire life consumed by that. He may have been able to have other things. He may have led the order one day when Oki retired eventually. There could have been a different future for him. But now, with how the world has gone, with how the plot has fallen, with how these chips have been laid down, Nagumo and Oki have no choice but to run the fade. This would hit a whole lot more. I will really admit, though. This would hit a whole lot more if, one, Oki just felt more competent as a leader and had more success under his belt. And two, if Nagumo and Oki had, any interactions before this moment. I know they technically had that little interaction where Nagumo, Shin, and Sakamoto were, sneaking around, but that barely counts. It really barely counts. So, I don't know. I feel like this would hit a whole lot more if Nagumo and Oki were at all interconnected characters outside of, their literal character conflict. Let's see. Oh! I mean, I guess I didn't see him drive down off the roof. I mean, presumably they'll still both survive this, but or maybe Nagumo's gonna catch a body, but still, kinda crap. But hey, honestly, I don't even blame Oki, dog. If I fight someone who's better than me, I'm taking anything. I'm taking free hits, free combos. I ain't got no shame. If you want to get in the car with me, let's go. To quote Zemnis, we shall go together. Type B, we got to do it. All right, smash straight up the parking roof. Oh, shoot. Yeah, but Nagumo's locked in. Look at how deviously locked in this man is. Okay, so we have Splagooter shots, a knife. Was this all in Nagumo's tie or something? Where's he getting this from? Let's see. Okay, adjust the mirror. Okay. Oh, and this is probably a callback to? This is definitely, most certainly a callback to Nagumo's last Major 101 battle against Gaku, which also happened to take place in a car. But while that battle definitely had a bit of preamble before we got to the car fight, we are just opening straight up with the car fight here and seeing them go band for band with each other. And, I mean, it is low-key kind of band. It's not. They're both clashing, but someone has blood draw. Oh! Yeah, they both have blood drawn. You can see, what presumably Oki's blood here, and then Nagumo's blood here. So, okay, maybe Oki may be a little bit relevant. Let's see. Clash. Okay. Both are extremely focused, but they're both landing hits on each other. And interesting that Nagumo is just using a short sword. But then again, I'm assuming it's just because of the closest of the car, and then wanting to get it over with as quickly as possible. But yeah, they're both tagging each other relatively evenly. Cut here. Nagumo's a slice on the cheek, or possibly two, but you could just say that's the arcing of the blood. And then Oki also has a slash on the cheek. You could say these are two new hits, but these also just look like the splashes of blood. They clash. Nagumo goes for the neck. Oh, actually, no, they're both going for the neck. So, let's see. Oh! That's actually kind of insane. So, yeah, never mind. Okay, so Nagumo has no reason to be mental nerfed here. If anything, he should be resolved, amped to the moon and back. Oki. in Suzuki-sensei. I guess you heard Scruple's video about Oki. Yeah, darn. This is, even if it's not much, still being able to stab Nagumo through the hand and actually kind of block one of his attacks, even if it doesn't involve you getting your arm shanked. Very impressive for Oki. And it looks like the backhand here he lands on Nagumo, or like the closed fist. Yeah, I guess it still technically is a backhand, like a back fist. And then it's a Nagumo. That seems to draw blood and seems to have a lot heavier impact than whatever Nagumo does to him here. Though it does just look like Nagumo is faster, as you can still somewhat read Oki's arm here, but Nagumo's arm is so fast, it's like a literal blur. Like, you can barely even tell that Oki was hit by something, other than the fact that his neck is turning and he's spitting blood. But okay. Did Suzuki-sensei hear? He was like, okay, let me just make the characters relevant again. Let me actually give the villains one-on-one fights with protagonists, and let me actually make them somewhat relevant as threats again. Okay, let's see.
So you're dumping me? What am I missing?
Excitement. That's rough, buddy. That's rough to hear, man. That's rough to hear. That's rough to hear. But you know what? Teach their own, man. I'm definitely more of a stability guy, but I get it. Some people they do live and love excitement. That's what they want. That's what they need. And I mean, notably, I am a guy who likes excitement, but I like excitement in moderation, or like excitement at reasonable paces. I'm not the kind of guy who's all excitement all the time, but that's real rough. And there goes the excitement right by them. Though it is very interesting to see if it does feel watered down, because the Sakamoto's civilian cast doesn't ever really... Huh? I have no idea what just happened. But the Sakamoto was like, huh? Okay, what is happening? What is happening, Bro Chacho? What is happening? What is happening, Bro Chacho? Fine, we'll do this. Since you want to feel fancy, since you want to confuse and concern me like this. Yeah, let's do that. But excitement in moderation. What's that? Man, see, because the camera completely threw me off. I was talking about excitement in moderation versus excitement in excess. Because ultimately, I think if you don't do things in moderation, you'll sort of water them down. Oh, no, that wasn't what I was talking about. It is fortunate yet unfortunate that I can't really take the Sakamoto days like background or civilian cast all too seriously. But it is a very interesting detail to see them still just living life, right? Like, ultimately, even with the chaos and madness going around them in the world, there's not much they can do about it. Like, clearly, the assassins, to Oki's point, do actually kind of run the world right now. So, thusly, they have to keep on living. They have to talk, they have to date, they have to do all this. And even though the entire world is a literal nightmare right now, where anyone can boom anyone at the slightest inconvenience, it's just not exciting enough for her. So, she's not standing for it. But let's see. Excitement. Oh, the car exploded? Okay, I'm guessing they both got out of there in time?
Whoa, a car just fell out the sky. Was that an accident? Is the driver okay? Call an ambulance.
I wonder how busy ambulances are if everyone's getting boomed. They're either the most busy or the least busy. because no one's willing to confront the body on site. Let's see. Creak. Up into the cafe. Oh. I'm not sure where the cafe entrance is. I'm not sure if they like went up the stairs and decided to keep fighting, or if like they leaped out of the car in this frame to go into the restaurant through a possibly open window. Okay, but regardless, I will give. I have to give my credit to Oki. Unless it's real that Nagumo's holding back for some reason. Oki's. Hold on, and this is the end of the chapter too. Ready to order?
I love the house blend. And you?
I'll have the same. Nagumo's actually looking at the menu. Click. Alright. Hold on! I mean to say this. A W chapter. I don't even have to, like, this isn't one I have to be like, the writing of the character works a little bit weird here, but no! This is actually just a banger. Wow. It's doing everything I want to do. We're following Nagumo still, which I think is a good thing. I still think Nagumo's a very interesting character. I mean, the rest of the chapter definitely does feel like a bit disconnected from the opening of the chapter, which is based around Sakamoto and Rion. But hey, honestly, I hate to say it, sometimes the best things you can do in your narratives is banish your main characters to some other realm temporarily and let the other characters cook. Unless it's Shin in this case. But with it being the case, that's fine too. I don't mind it. Seeing Sakamoto possibly have a conversation with Rion, or what remains of Rion's soul, or is Sakamoto just tweaking, anything to get Sakamoto back being relevant again, we'll take it. So I'm down with that. I'm down with the like tense and terse conversation that Nagumo and Oki have, and very specifically that neither actually do want to fight each other, really, but their fundamental designs so directly oppose each other, and how they view the world so directly oppose each other, that even if they don't want to fight, even if there was another way this could have gone in another life, they're like, hey, gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, broski. Let's lock in, let's get it, let's do it to it. And they're doing it to it. I respect the hustle. I respect the game. Like, they know ball, and they're kind of just going ball for ball right now, and that's very impressive. That's honestly kind of, this is gonna sound weird. It's honestly low-key even a little respectful too. Just the idea that they're like, hey, I know you, you know me. We all been about this. It's been real. It's been fun. But I got to run your pockets right now, and just seeing Oki actually be relevant once again. He's able to stab Nagumo's hand here. He's able to make Nagumo bleed. Like, he's able to tag and repeat. Like, this is the second best fighter in the order. And looking at it, they seem equally damaged by the end of the chapter. And both have shed an outer layer of clothing, right? Oki lost his coat, but he's still fully buttoned up with a tie. And Nagumo lost his trench coat, but he still has his multi-tool on him. And he still has his full, like, suit on. Obviously, I still think Nagumo does have the edge here, because I don't know where Oki's staff is. Well, obviously, the bag that Nagumo carries with him at all times is his multi-tool, or at least presumably contains his multi-tool. At least I think that's what it is. Yeah, he still has his multi-tool on with the entire chapter, and he ends it with him. He ends the chapter with it. So, I'm assuming Nagumo is going to win this fight, but Oki being at all relevant, at all, in the battle begins, is good enough for me. I wanted him to actually do something against the main cast. So, overall, W cooking, W chapter. Like, do I have it? Like, this is gonna sound crazy considering how much of a negative streak I've been on in the last few reviews. Is there, like, I can't even, if I had to give the chapter a point rating, it's a 10 out of 10. It does interesting stuff with the characters, and whatever critiques they have are simply not on the fault of this chapter. It is not this chapter's fault that Nagumo and Oki have spoke like once previously on panel in front of us. It's not like its problem. It's not my problem. Or no, it's not its chapter's problem, so I'm not going to blame this chapter for that. It takes what this series has established, set up in an interesting way, and begins the battle. So overall, an amazing chapter. If you don't wait to get this review, please leave golly gee willikers. like genuinely, I'm so shocked that this chapter actually is so good. Golly gee willikers in the comment section down below. If you have no idea how to spell golly gee willikers, I don't blame you. Golly is Golly. G is Gee, and willikers is literally however you want to spell it. I typically spell it Willikers. Willikers, but I've seen it spelled with one L, I've seen it spelled with an E. Spell it however you want, but Golly G Willikers in the comment section down below. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the notifications so you don't miss out on any of the come to the channel. Also, you're going to have a Patreon down below. Use support me for as low as $1 a month. Hitting some exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Those perks include the live reactions here this season to review, add variations of all my videos, and if you become a $12 Patreon or $12 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also the link to my co-founder description down below. You drop 5 minutes for a short video, 20 minutes long video, or any views at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is the guy with the pencil, writing off. I would like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Super Flame Zero, Glacier, XZ, Zera, Brendan Payne, J2MA, Guillaume, Buddha Uda, Alex Kenny, Yuki Ally, Enzo, Nevis97, Zachary Wilson, Azo2404, Planet Crone, Rye Rich, G Prosper, Swift Strike, Alexicon, Striker Man, and Autumn Mornings Lazo. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our line art patrons: Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin, Encarnacion, Dread Zoan, and A+A. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our Ink tier members: Austin Wimberly, Euchia, and Shrimpo the Shrimp. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Waki Munoz and Waki Munoz. And a vinyl thank you to our ultimate, that guy with a pencil tier patron, Calvin's wife. Not Calvin Elder, who ultimately
does have one of my kidneys, but now I must know, and I must undergo the process of getting this second one removed, so I can send the other over to this wonderful family.